Alright, so one thing I want to get into is your story of getting into game development. So, you have those ideas, you want to make them happen, and you have no background. So, how do you begin? And also, any insights you can share for other solo devs, small teams, or just kind of like people watching the interview and also having like inspiration and ideas.
Of course, because I started out as well, but in my case, it was at the very beginning of COVID, technically. It was in 2019, I guess, the end of 2019, when, the first news started circulating around about, COVID and stuff like that. And I was a cook at the time, or well, rather a chef. So I'm weren't at least a programmer by trade or designer or anything like that. But I've only been dabbling in this. I was mainly a gamer. And then I found myself at the point where the restaurant I was working in suddenly closed because there have been, the quarantines and stuff like that, and pretty much it killed the restaurant. So I found myself in a point that, well, what do I do now? And the only obvious answer was that for the first time in my life, I'll try to follow my dreams. The stuff that has been pretty much told to me, by adults throughout my childhood or whatever, that it's stupid, it's not worth it, whatever. Well, it's a good feeling to prove them wrong, obviously, because after that summer, I started to learn programming from pretty much zero through YouTube videos and through Udemy. So this would be one thing I would be definitely recommending to aspiring the solo developers, is that if they don't know where to begin with all this, then places such as Udemy are offering very good, all-encompassing sort of courses, which usually have pretty big discounts as well. So you just buy one and you get this library of videos, which aren't just tutorials, but it's actually like a teacher talking to you. The guy is giving you homework and whatever, and then you're following these videos, and one day you just notice that you don't have to follow the instructions in the video anymore. You're going by yourself. And it's at that point that you finally realize that you know what's going on, but in fact, you'll never fully 100% know what's going on, because this is a subject which is constantly evolving. New techniques are arising every month, and this is one thing I really love about it, that it sort of forces you to be better and become better each and every day, because you're not just have to keep up, but you actually want to keep up. So yeah, as I was saying, I was following these Udemy courses, and just one day I noticed that I'm not actually following around, but I'm doing my own thing. I've been learning C# and using Unity, and well, over the years this has been expanded. But the thing is that after a while you start looking for answers to your own questions. So you'd be interested in, well, I see this specific thing happening in games. How do I do that? And then you start, researching the subject, finding answers. And even if at first you may not understand those things, if you keep at it and try to do those things for yourself, then eventually it's going to click. And that specific click is a really good feeling, that you finally understand these things. And so I kept doing this pretty much with some smaller prototypes and whatever, until I've started making the first iteration of Sword Hero, which was a completely different game. So it was a top-down. It was supposed to be a top-down roguelite. So it was a very different game. But, it got noticed by Crytevo, in a sense. And eventually I got into, well, a sort of part-time job with them, with Crytevo. So I, for now, like 3 years around, was a part-time developer at Crytevo, and I had the chance to, learn from the seniors there, and all the people, learn the processes of game development, see how each little department is interacting with the other. And it just so happened that I kind of got into all of this. So, of course, there's a big portion of luck to it, but if you want to be noticed, you have to put your work out there. That's the main thing to take away from this. I think that it's not enough to be doing it, but you have to be doing things that are sort of eye-catching and interesting to people, even who are already in the industry. So the short version is just start doing it, follow something at first, such as a Udemy course, keep doing it, and do social media. So because
Oh yeah, definitely.
because that's gonna evolve into your portfolio in a sense, and that's a super important thing. So yeah.
Yeah, like for this channel, I came across so many games just looking on Twitter. Someone puts up a clip of something in progress, and that gets my attention, and that's actually how I found Half-Sword. It was a very, very experimental physics-based combat project, and right now it's coming along quite beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. They are pretty much gigantic at this point, and I'm really happy for them because the industry needs, these standout projects, and especially
creativity, man, creativity. Yeah.
And yeah, they're doing something really awesome there, like all the physics and the body destruction and all that is extremely detailed, and I'm really excited to see what they have in store in the future.
Any more insights you have, perhaps, for game devs?
One thing I would say is that do not be too hasty about trying to look for a publisher, but instead, up until you'll be pretty much at the last stages of development, just keep to yourself and build your own sort of reputation and whatnot, because especially nowadays, most publishers won't be open to give you funding or whatever. So what I'm trying to say is that your project could evolve. So at that point, you might not even know what your game is gonna become. So until you know what your game is gonna become and who you can reach and what the size of your potential audience might be, just do your thing. Like, don't try to get funding that way, because that could fire back at you at one day, because that funding is not given to you as a gift, but it's gonna have to be paid back in a sense. So that's just one thing the last thing I'd like to put out for you guys.